So you're probably wondering, who is this woman with this vision and passion? What's her story? Should I align with her? I think you'll see why I call myself an advocate on steroids for dementia and caregiving, and how the mindset makes Alzheimer's Speaks so different in terms of our vision to change our care culture. But first, let me start with posing a couple questions we all need to ask ourselves, and then I'll share my background with you. Are you going to be the next to forget, or the next to be forgotten? How do you want to be cared for? And by whom? And where? I want you to think about these questions as I give you a little background about myself. The first thing you need to know about me is my mother started having memory problems in her mid-50s. That's my age. She's now 85 years old and has been living in a nursing home for 12 years, the last 4 of which have been in her end stages. Now this means that my mom now needs total care and she's unable to do anything for herself. A shell of a body is how most people would refer to my mom, but I know better. She's a gift to me. You see, my mother continues to teach me life lessons even in her end stages, lessons that have forever changed me and I believe have made me a better person. One of these lessons helped me create the tool called Your Memory Chip. It teaches us to focus not on the task, but the way we deliver the service. I took time and I looked back over my life at all the little pieces that I thought were incidental and unconnected. But I now see things differently looking through the rear view mirror. The big picture is very clear. All those incidental pieces burn deep within me, igniting my passion to shift our dementia care culture. From a young age, I was always fascinated with my elders. At the age of 13, I'll never forget the day my great Aunt Mary forgot my name and who I was. I cried crocodile tears for 2 weeks as a teenager, wondering what I had done wrong. Why wasn't I important to her anymore? How could she still love others in the family and not me? We were the closest. None of it made any sense. I remember thinking and telling my mom I don't ever want anyone to feel that kind of pain or loss in their life. When my mom started having memory problems, she mentioned she thought she had Alzheimer's. Now, remember, this was 30 years ago, long before the disease was even talked about. But my mom was so sure, yet the doctors told her it was just hormonal. They didn't diagnose Mom with Alzheimer's disease until 10 years later. And at that time, they told us she had the mentality of a 3-year-old and not to let her out of our sight. My father died in 2001 from brain cancer, which he was diagnosed 4.5 years earlier. Dad had been the primary caregiver for Mom, and I was the supportive daughter. During Dad's illness, I cared for both of them. A period of my life I'll never forget and I'll never regret. I worked 9 years with the developmentally disabled in the group home industry. From there, I entered the residential real estate market where I stayed for 25 years. Upon entering that industry, I immediately was drawn to the senior market. I saw it so clearly. Funny thing is, back then, nobody knew we even had a senior market. So I stayed on course and I developed the Classic Lifestyles program, which was about what's best for the senior, by getting the families, the professionals, and the senior all using the same language to work together for the best interest of the older adult. This concept has carried over nicely to Alzheimer's Speaks.